Will and Jada Pinkett Smith recently shocked the media as they revealed they have actually been separated since 2016. I wonder if Pete Davidson or Young Gravy is gonna give Jada a call. Anyways, this was kept a secret until very recently, and many were surprised, and even Blue's Clues couldn't have guessed this one. Hello everyone, I'm Melanie with InformOverload, and today we are gonna be discussing our top 10 signs Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith were secretly divorced. And at number 10, we have forced marriage. Instead of the typical I do's on your wedding day, it appears Jada was the furthest away from wanting that. In fact, she discussed her wedding day on an episode of Red Table Talk back in 2018. During this episode, it featured Jada and her mother Adrian, alongside Will and Willow Smith, who is the couple's only daughter. You may know her for whipping her hair back and forth. Jada opens up about being a young actress at the time and how much pressure she was actually under, admitting she was pregnant and was unsure what to do before admitting she never wanted to be married. And if you're wondering what made her actually go through with the marriage, it was because she saw her mother Adrian crying. Adrian added that she felt very strongly about the two getting married, but shared she knew her daughter rejected the idea of a wedding, but she didn't know Jada has also rejected the idea of marriage. In fact, Jada and Adrian even went as far as to say the wedding was horrible, and this was due to Jada being sick and unpleasant and ultimately did not want to cooperate with anything. Jada even said so herself, that she was mad about having to have this wedding in the first place, that she cried the whole way down the aisle. Maybe the flower girl should be throwing tissues instead. And for number 9, we have not knowing Will. Although the celebrity couple began dating in 1995, Jada admitted she didn't know Will at all. On an episode of Red Table Talk from 2020, Jada discusses the pandemic and the time she spent with him. However, the time together didn't seem to bring them closer. In fact, Jada admitted during this time she realized she didn't know Will at all, and he doesn't know her at all, which is surprising to hear, especially from a couple that has been together for so long. Jada said, "One of the things I realize is that I don't know Will at all. It's challenging. You're forced to look at things differently." In fact, she further elaborated on this and stated, "To be married to someone for 20 some odd years and then realize I don't know you and you don't know me, but also realizing there's an aspect of yourself you don't know either." For number 8, we have societal standards. I don't know about you, but 6-year-old me was convinced the prince would pick me up from a pumpkin and happily be married forever. Jada discusses how she's been told she has to be the perfect wife by supporting her husband's dreams no matter what it is. She says, "Whatever he wants to build, you're there to support that. Our whole life looks like his dream." If you think about it, shows and movies for a long time have showcased a dominant male figure with a damsel in distress wrapped around their fingers. That also reflects on society, and although time is changing, Jada did get forced into a marriage she never wanted for the sake of other people. And for number 9, we have Friendzoned. Jada has opened up about her and Will's relationship, and it isn't necessarily a romantic one. In fact, it seems like the two are trying to be just friends. Jada stated, "The thing that Will and I are learning to do is be friends, because you get into all of these ideas about what intimate relationships are supposed to look like, what marriages are supposed to be. So Will and I are in the process of him taking the time to learn to love himself, me taking the time to learn myself right, and building a friendship along the way." And it's no secret that this couple has been under the spotlight a few, and by a few I mean a plenty of times, but it's good to see that they were attempting to build a friendship component of the relationship rather than getting into a messy fight or a slapping battle. And for number 6, we have Entanglement. What does the month August have in common with Will Smith? They have both been with Jada. Okay, that was a really bad attempt of a joke, but it has some truth behind it. August Alsina, who is a singer, was involved with an entanglement with the one and only Jada Pinkett Smith. Back in June of 2020, the singer had an interview with a YouTuber named Angela Yee, where he claimed he had a relationship with Jada, who she actually met through her son Jaden back in 2015. Yes, August met Jada because a Karate Kid himself was friends with August. This allegedly happened when Will and Jada were on a break, and Jada decided to dip her toes into this whole situation. August actually said he gave himself to that relationship for years as he had a deep love for Jada. So much so that he even added he could die right now and be okay knowing that he truly gave himself to somebody. In fact, August actually talked to Will before this whole entanglement happened and allegedly received his approval and had a conversation due to his and Jada's transition from husband and wife to long life partners. But Jada denied that Will gave August permission because she said the only person who can give that permission is herself, as she believes August said that to make it clear he wasn't a homewrecker, which Jada Jada says he isn't. And at number 5, we have lifelong partners. We briefly touched on this in the last point, but basically Will and Jada have admitted they actually don't refer to each other as husband and wife anymore, and don't even say they're married. Instead, they have chosen to view each other as lifelong partners because she said they've made it to a point in their lives where they realize they are with somebody for the rest of their lives. And there's no deal breakers here. Will actually said nothing can break their relationship, and it's no secret the two are in an open marriage as they have decided against monogamy. Will then discussed it was because Jada never believed in conventional marriage. And for number 4, we have Toxic Table. The talk show Red Table Talk is where Jada is joined by her mother Adrian and her daughter Willow as they discuss a wide variety of topics. Most of these consist of other celebrities as guests who come on the show to open up about certain situations. Well, one celebrity who has talked about the show in a negative light was Nick Cannon. In fact, he was the one who called it Toxic Table and is happy the show ended because too much honesty can get you slapped in the face. Is Chris Rock involved in the show too? Many fans actually agreed with Nick, especially because Will and Jada often air out all their relationship issues onto the show, and Nick stated, "That was royalty, Will and Jada." Then they brought it to the table. "I don't want to know all this about y'all. I just want to mind my black-owned business. I don't want to be up in everybody else's kitchen. Keep that to yourselves." And many believe this was because Nick has seen the episode where Jada admitted to being pressured to marry her husband Will, which was actually resurfaced after the whole Chris Rock slapping Oscars incident. And for number 3, we have Slap in the Face. I bet you already know where this one's going because during the 94th Oscars Academy Awards, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. The reason why Will slapped Chris was because he made a joke on stage about his wife Jada regarding her alopecia, which if you don't know is when the immune system mistakenly attacks the hair follicles, which causes hair loss. And ever since the news about Will and Jada being separated for over 7 years broke out, the internet has made a bunch of memes with many people saying Will Smith slapped Chris Rock for nothing. "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth" was the wise words Will once said at the Oscars. And after this whole incident, Will was actually banned from attending any Academy Awards for 10 years and had to issue an apology video onto YouTube. However, Jada has now come out to talk about this infamous slap after 18 months of keeping it quiet. She admits she actually thought the whole situation was a skit and didn't believe it was real. It wasn't until Will began to walk back from the stage where she realized it definitely was not a skit. Jada's new memoir titled Worthy is set to be released on October 17th, where she goes into this incident even further and admits when there were rumors circulating regarding her and Will's divorce, Chris Rock allegedly asked her out on a date. Now I'm not sure if Will slapped Chris because of the joke or because of the attempt he had on his wife. And for number 2, we have an anniversary. I'm sure many couples and families celebrate their wedding anniversaries as a way to look back and say we did it. We finally have tolerated each other for another 365 days. However, for the Smiths, they actually don't celebrate that day at all because the context of their union is apparently totally different. They actually tied the knot back in 1997 on New Year's Eve, and Jada admits the two are usually busy doing their own stuff. She stated, "Usually Will on New Year's likes to be in on an adventure in the world somewhere. There's no telling where he's gonna be, and I like to be inside. I don't want to be out in the world. He now has the freedom to go have an awesome adventure of some kind." And in our number 1 spot, we have Separate Lives. In the interview clip that was recently released by the Today Show on NBC, Jada says although her and Will are not in a legal divorce, it is technically a divorce without any papers. The two admitted they are living completely separate lives, and there were kind of hints to this earlier. In fact, on her show Red Table Talk back in 2018, she discussed the topic of divorce before stating, "For me personally, I'm not mature enough to have a divorce. I'm just not. I don't think I would ever be mature enough. I don't." And Will actually elaborates because since he has gotten a divorce already, a second divorce isn't an option for him. So instead, the two broke up briefly and got back together to rebuild the new rules and a completely different relationship to make things work. I guess now that the news about their separation has come out, it'll be interesting if Will continues to slap people for Jada, or maybe Willow will whip her hair, or even Jaden can karate chop to defend. Wow, they have a whole fighting squad. Were you shocked by their separation, or did you have a feeling this one was coming? I would love to hear all your thoughts down below. Goodbye for now.